Rama Rama Hare Hare Gauranga Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Satchinandan Jai Satchinandan Gaura Hare Jai Satchinandan Gaura Hare Gaura Hare Jaya Satchinandana Gaura Hare Nitai Gauranga Jaya Gaura Hare Nitai Gauranga Nitai Gauranga Jai Gaura Hare Nitai Gauranga Jaya Gaura Hare Jaya Satchinandana Gaura Hare Jaya Satchinandana Gaura Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Gaura, Gaura, Gaura Hare, Jaya Sachinandana Gaura Hare. Gaura, Gaura, Gaura Hare, Jai Sachinandana Gaura Hare. Nitai, 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 Nitai Gauranga. 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 Jaya Sachinandana, Jaya Sachinandana, Jaya Sachinandana Gaura Hare. Jaya Sachinandana, Jaya Sachinandana, Jaya Sachinandana Gaura Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Haribol. Jaya Sachinandan, Jaya Sachinandan, Jaya Sachinandan, Gaura Hare. Jaya Sachinandan, Jaya Sachinandan, Jaya Sachinandan, Gaura Hare. Gaura Hare, Jaya Sachinandana, Gaura Hare. Haribol, Nitai Gaura Haribol. Nitai Gaura Haribol, Gaura Haribol. Nitai Gaura Haribol, Gaura Haribol. Tai Gaura Haribol, Gaura Haribol. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada.
Govinda A reading about the Jarikanda forest. The pastime of Lord Chaitanya in the Jarikanda forest is a beautiful example of how chanting the Hare Krishna mantra can awaken the dormant spiritual consciousness within all living beings, including animals. Lord Chaitanya was traveling through the dense forest of Jarikand with his disciples, dancing and chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. As they walked deeper into the forest, they came across a ferocious tiger who was lying in their path, blocking their way. The disciples were terrified and begged Lord Chaitanya to leave the area immediately, fearing for their lives. But Lord Chaitanya remained calm and composed. He approached the tiger fearlessly, and as he got close, the tiger suddenly stood up on its hind legs and began to dance. The tiger had been listening to Lord Chaitanya's chanting and was deeply moved by the divine sound. In fact, the tiger had been so entranced by the chanting that it had completely forgotten its animal nature and had become lost in the spiritual ecstasy of the moment. Lord Chaitanya continued to chant and dance, and the tiger followed his lead, dancing with him in perfect harmony. The disciples watched in amazement as the once ferocious beast became peaceful and tame in the presence of Lord Chaitanya. After some time, Lord Chaitanya and his disciples bid farewell to the tiger and continued on their journey, leaving the forest behind. The incident left a profound impact on the disciples, who witnessed firsthand the transformative power of Lord Chaitanya's spiritual teachings. Srila Prabhupada teaches that the pastime of Lord Chaitanya in the Jharkhand forest shows us that the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra has the power to transform even the most ferocious and untamed animal instincts into spiritual devotion. He often emphasized the importance of chanting the Hare Krishna mantra regularly to awaken our dormant spiritual consciousness and lead a life rooted in love, compassion, and devotion to God. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna. Thank you. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Nittai Gaura Hariba, Hariba, Haribo, Nittai Gaura Haribo. Nittai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nittai Gaura Haribo. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Gaura Premanandi. Dear devotees, we will now be graced with a beautiful class by His Grace Mahatma Prabhu. If you'd like to stay, Hare Krishna.
China. Same here.
Hare Krishna. Gaura. Nitai Gaura. Gaura, Gaura. Nitai Gaura. Gaura Premanandi. Gaura Prem. Hare Krishna. So I have a problem. This is an interesting problem. We stopped the kirtan to give class, and in the class I'm going to say we should have kirtan. We should chant always. That's the message of the class. So we stopped the class. We stopped the kirtan to talk about how we should have kirtan. That's kind of strange, isn't it? Don't you think? So maybe we should just have kirtan, because that's the essence. You know, Bhaktivinoda Thakur said something interesting. You know, one of the offenses is to blaspheme the Vedic literature, or literature in pursuance of the Vedic version. And he said that the essence of all the Vedas, the essence of the Puranas, of all the Shastra, is to chant the holy name. So if you're criticizing any Shastra, indirectly you're criticizing the holy name. So the essence of everything we could say is to chant the holy name. And we have to stop chanting to say that we should chant. Kind of funny, isn't it? What do you think? Should we just chant? That will be the class. Little of both. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda. Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Gaura Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Gauranga Prema, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai, go Brahmanande, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hare Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol. Jai Gopamanande, Hari Hari Bol. Namo Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prashnaya Bhutale, Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinamane, Namaste Saraswati Deve, Gauravani Pacharine, Nirvisesha Shinyavari Paschat Yadastharine. So, the message today is to chant Hare Krishna. Are there any questions? I had come to the temple to attend class, not to give it, but Ishvaku, in his desire for me to speak because I've been absent a bit, asked me to speak, so here I am. And he's given a verse, 2 verses, I guess, about the appearance of Mahaprabhu. I was thinking this morning that Krishna Prema is on sale today. Today's a good day to get it. It's easily accessible today. And another beautiful thought is, sometimes it seems like Krishna Prema is pretty far away, right? Like light years maybe, lifetimes. But it's always valuable and inspiring to consider that Mahaprabhu wants to give it. Prabhupada wants to give it. The Acharyas want to give it. So it may seem far away, but they're all very anxious to give it, especially today. And as we heard this morning, if the animals can get it, then certainly we can line up also. Even if we feel like, well, I'm even worse than an animal, but Mahaprabhu wants to give it to everyone. And there's a beautiful story. Maybe some of you have heard this story. There was a man who asked Srila Prabhupada, can you see Krishna? And Prabhupada said, yes. Can you see him? And the man said, no. And then Prabhupada went to ask one of his disciples who was in the room, can you see Krishna? And this disciple said, no, Prabhupada, but I want to see Krishna. And Prabhupada said, and I want to show you Krishna. So it's Prabhupada's desire to show us Krishna. It's sometimes it seems like it's almost like a fantasy to see Krishna, to get Krishna prema. But I think it's really important to always remember that Prabhupada, that's what he came to do, to give us Krishna prema, to show us Krishna. And many, many times, I heard many lectures. I was fortunate, I probably personally heard over 100 lectures. And many of those lectures, Prabhupada would say, in this lifetime you can see Krishna. He would give us that assurance, which to us seemed kind of impossible. In this lifetime you can see Krishna, in this lifetime you can get Krishna prema. But on days like today, it's like it really is on sale. It's easily available, just for a little Harinam and a little faith and a little desire. So I think it's really good on days like this to expect that mercy, not just to hope for it, but rather than hope for it, to expect it. And that's one of the principles of bhakti, is to expect the mercy, not to think, oh, I wish I could get it, but I'm so unqualified, I'll probably never get it in a million lifetimes. But rather, we should think, maybe I'm unqualified, but Mahaprabhu wants to give it, and shouldn't I expect it because he wants to give it? Yes, I should. And especially today, we should look for it, expect it, desire it, hanker for it, wait for it, taste it, and certainly it will come. No doubt. Hare Krishna. Okay, so it looks like both of the verses are on the board, so we can chant, if I can see it. Prema bhakti shikaite apane avatari. Bhakti shikaite apane. Radha bhava kanti dui angikaraho kari. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Rupe Kaila Avatar. Rupe Kaila Eta Panchama Shlokera Artha Parachar. Prema Bhakti Shikaite Apane Avatari. Radha Bhava Kanti Dhui Angikari Kori. Angikara. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Rupe Koila Avatar. Neta Pachami Shlokera Artha Parachar. Pachama Shlokera Prema. When I first went to Mayapur, I was so attracted to the sound of Bengali. I used to walk around with a Chaitanya Charitamrita, and I'd go up to the people and I'd say, can you chant this verse for me? Because I just wanted to hear them chant it. So sweet. I'll try to say it like they would say it. Prema bhakti shikaite aparani avatari. Radha bhava kanti dui angikara kori. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Rupe Koila Avatar. Eta Pachami Shlokera Artha Parachar. Someone like to chant? Bhakti Shikadane Avani Avatari. Abhava kanti due akinkara kori. Pancham ashlokera adhita pacham. Prema bhakti shikhaite apane avatari. Radha bhava kanti dui angikara kori. Krishna Chaitanya Rupe Koila Avatar. Tamam Pachami Shlokera Artha Parachar. Prema Bhakti Shikaite Apane Avatari. Radha Bhava Kanti Due Angikara Kori. Krishna Chaitanya Rupe Koila Avatar. Etama Pachama Shlokera Artha Parachar. We have a Bengali, at least in the last slide, as reincarnated. Hare Krishna. Anyone else? So we'll do the word meanings. Prema Bhakti. Devotional service and love of Godhead. Shikaite. To teach. Apane. Himself. Avatari. Descending. Radha Bhav. The mood of Srimati Radha Rani. Kanti and luster. Dui. Two. Angi Kara Kori. Accepting. Sri Krishna Chaitanya of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Rupe in the form. Koila made. Avatar incarnation. A this. Ta certainly. Pachami fifth. Shlokera of the verse. Artha meaning. Parachar proclamation. Translation. To promulgate prema bhakti, devotional service and love of Godhead, Krishna appeared as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with the mood and complexion of Sri Radha. Thus I have explained the meaning of the fifth verse. You want to repeat? To promulgate prema bhakti, devotional service and love of Godhead, Krishna appeared as Sri Chaitanya with the mood and complexion of Sri Radha. Thus I have explained the meaning of the fifth verse. So, as most of us know, Lord Chaitanya coming to propagate the Sankirtan movement and give love of Krishna is the external reason, and the internal reason is to experience the prema of Radha. But it's very interesting because both these reasons actually, in a sense, are one, because he comes to the material world to experience the prema of Radha so that we get to see that. And in experiencing it, he's giving it. Because if he didn't come here to do that, we wouldn't see it. I mean, we could hear about it, but we get to see it. And therefore, his experiencing of Radha Bhav, the love of Radha, is part of the spreading of Krishna consciousness. And he appears in he chooses Kali Yuga to do it. And Kali Yuga, of course, is the most fallen age. So he appears to give the highest thing to the most fallen. So it's not like an accident. I'll experience Radha Bhav and Kali Yuga, will come down and do it. He could do it in the spiritual world, right? If he wanted. I mean, Radharani's right there. He could observe it. He could do it there, but he comes to do it here. So a natural question comes to mind, I think, for all of us at some point in our devotional life. If we, in Kali Yuga, are least qualified spiritually, because this is the last of the 4 ages in which we're least qualified, why did Mahaprabhu come and choose to give the highest thing in the age where people are least qualified for the highest thing? It doesn't really make sense, does it? It's like you choose all the high school dropouts and you say, okay, all of you are going to go, we're sending you to Oxford University. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, why would you do that? You would choose the laureates, the best students in every school, and you say, okay, you go. So when we analyze why Mahaprabhu did this, and you can analyze why Krishna does anything. Why does Krishna do anything? He does it because he wants to. It doesn't have to have a logical reason, because logically it doesn't really make sense, does it? You know, it's like today, a Rolls Royce, which is normally about 500,000 Australian dollars, is on sale for $11. You'd see that and you go, oh, this is a scam, it's not true, doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Why would they do that? And so it's similar. This doesn't make sense. I'm not qualified for love of Godhead. But the only answer, logical or not, depending how you look on it, the only answer is because this is what he decided to do. This is what he wanted to do. And when Mahaprabhu is tasting the mood of Radha, that compassion of Radha is being expanded in his experience of Radha, because that's Radha's mood, to give. And the mood of compassion doesn't look at qualification, right? So there's so many prayers we have of acharyas that say, if you look at my qualification, then I'm not going to get this. So don't look at my qualification, because I don't have the qualification. If you look at my qualification, I'm not going to get into Oxford. Can you not look at it and just let me in? Something like that. So sometimes, as I was saying before, we feel unqualified. I'm not really qualified for this. I don't see how I can get love of Godhead. But it's always important to remember Lord Chaitanya chose this age. So he wanted to give prema. And that is the mood of Radha, which is expanding. And that, therefore, this Leela is called Odarya, magnanimous. He wants to give love to those who are least qualified. And so we should never think, it would be bad to think, well, I can't get it, I'm not qualified. Rather, we should think, I'm not qualified, but you're selling a Rolls Royce for $11, I'm going to get one. Of course, I couldn't afford to maintain it, but I'm going to get it. It's like it doesn't make sense. Why would they do that? I don't know, but they're doing it, right? So if that's what Mahaprabhu wants to do, then I want to try for it. So, and then you might say, but you know, I've been a devotee and I've been chanting and I don't have prema. Well, yes and no. Because I think we all can recognize what goes on in ecstatic kirtan is different than what goes on normally in your japa. Yes? Some people have a really difficult time with japa, but they love kirtan, right? So what's going on in kirtan is often like, how should we say it? It's just a shower of prema. And you might think, well, yeah, well, it was ecstatic, but when the kirtan ended, I'm kind of going back to my old self. But what was going on during that kirtan was very special. And you know, we all know, sometimes kirtans are like, they're amazing. I've seen I've seen devotees who were having great difficulty in their life, and just like one kirtan, flipped them around. Like it solved so many problems. And you know how Prabhupada says even a dog can chant. Yeah, anyone can chant, even just come in the kirtan and get love of God, chant love of God. So right now, maybe it's over, but in Rishikesh, so many people are doing kirtan. Indrajit Swami is there with his crew, and some devotees are there. They're writing me and telling me how amazing it is and how ecstatic it is. And so people are coming in and experiencing something which is extraordinary, that is not like none of us are really qualified for. And so that's one way we understand Mahaprabhu's mercy, is that we can experience, he's enabling us or allowing us to experience something that, in technically speaking, we're not really qualified to experience, or we shouldn't even experience, as we haven't done anything to enable us to enter that deeply or experience that ecstasy, isn't it? I mean, you know, right? You know those kirtans, which are like, you're just like, this is like better than LSD, right? Better than any drug you've ever taken. It's intoxicating. Even to compare it to a drug is like offensive. It's like, it's you know, it's special, it's mercy. We were just in Mayapur, well, we were in Vrindavan and Govardhan in Mayapur, and we went to a temple in a place called Nidoy. Nidoy means no mercy. That's where Lord Chaitanya left to cross the Ganga in this area to take sannyas. Like, he's leaving his family, no mercy. And in Nidoy, there is a temple. And it was in Nidoy that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, Srila Prabhupada's spiritual master, made a vow to chant 1 billion names, and it took over 9 years. And I think he was chanting 192 rounds a day for 9.5 years. And in that area, there's a temple. And that temple has the deity that he chanted 192 rounds a day in front of. So has anyone been to that temple before? It's, you know where that is? It's a Gaudiya Math temple. You go through the Ghosh village. You go through it, and then you turn left and walk. Well, you just keep going through the village and follow it. I forgot the name of the temple. Do you remember? Anyway, it's a Gaudiya Math temple. And it's not the temple where he chanted, because where he chanted was on the bank of the Ganga. And the Ganga changed its course, and then it destroyed. It was like a hut that he was chanting in. So they took the deities there. They have Radha and Krishna deities, and they took the deity of Mahaprabhu. So we got to go there and chant in front of those same deities. And it was like amazing. It was just like, when you go there, it's not like you've changed, you've become better. It's just there's more mercy, and therefore your experience changes. So you get yourself in that environment, the mercy comes, and you get realization, you get purification, that maybe, at least it feels to me, that I'm not qualified to have, but through the mercy, it comes. And sometimes mercy is so great that Krishna, through that mercy, gives us some realization, and I think we all have this experience of like, I just had this realization, I don't even feel that I'm in any way qualified to have such a realization, but by mercy it comes. You ever had that experience? It's like, why me? What did I do to even understand this? But he wants us to understand, so he gives us the mercy. So we were chanting there, and it was amazing. And we were feeling something special in the holy name, and we were getting, everybody, not just me, everybody, we were getting this realization. So like the next day or the day after, we went to the temple where Vishnu Priya's deity of Mahaprabhu is. So Mahaprabhu leaves Vishnu Priya, takes sannyas. In that place where Bhaktisiddhanta chanted, we got to chant to that deity. And then we got to chant to the deity she worshipped of Mahaprabhu. And that was, I think, even more amazing. Or maybe we were just getting purified. And so, have any of you ever been to the Samadhi, the Bhajan Kutir of Thakur Haridas? Back in the day, have you ever been there back in the day before they were doing kirtan? Now they do that bogus kirtan. But back in the day, before they did the kirtan, you could just go there and chant. And I remember going there and bringing devotees, and we'd sit down and chant, and I would say, it's time to leave, and they would say, I don't want to go. I just want to stay here all day and chant. And these are people who sometimes would struggle to chant 16 rounds, or even chant 8 rounds, or even struggle just to be a devotee, and they would go there and they say, I feel like I can chant all day. That's the power of mercy. And obviously we need that mercy. So it was similar. We went to this temple. It was in Navadvip, Dhameshwara, the Dhameshwara temple. And there's the deity of Mahaprabhu, this merciful deity that Vishnupriya worshipped. And we're just Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And it's not like normal Hare Krishna. It's Hare Krishna with a lot of mercy. And we're feeling something different. We're feeling something special. We're getting some realization. And then we go up the road to Gorkashore and Jagannath Das Babaji's Samadhi, Bhajan Kutir. And we chant where he chanted. And it's special. And then the next day, I asked my wife, I said, what do we do now? We went to Yoga Pith. We went everywhere. Where do we go now? She said, let's go to the Ganga. We'll worship the Ganga. So then we went to the Ganga, and we worshipped the Ganga, and we just sat on the Ganga and chanted japa, like, sages have done throughout millennia, just sitting by the Ganga. And my wife was sitting there chanting, and japa is not her number one favorite activity. She likes puja more than japa. And she's sitting there chanting, and she's saying, build me a house here. I just want to sit here and chant. So that's how mercy works. Mercy helps us transcend our normal limitations. That's the nature of it. And obviously we all need mercy, right? And certainly on a day like today is a day where we should try to grab it, because it's really easy to get, because especially today Mahaprabhu wants to give it. And I've always found that when we need to be enthusiastic, obviously, in bhakti, and we always need to find those little jewels that will enthuse us. And it's easy to think, I'm not qualified, I'll never be Krishna conscious. You ever feel like that? That's kind of natural, right? Like, this is, I don't have any taste. I don't even like to chant that much, and so on and so forth. And so we could go there, and that seems real, but we can also go with these other pearls where, no, Mahaprabhu wants to give mercy. Mercy is there. And there's an interesting psychology to wanting mercy, and that is given to us by Rupa Goswami. And many acharyas pray this in a similar way, where he's saying, I want mercy, but I know I'm not qualified. So it's like, I want that Rolls Royce. I don't even have $11, but I want it. I really want it. And so the psychology of his prayer is like, I want it. I know I'm not qualified, but I want it, and I can't not ask for it and beg you for it, because even though I'm not qualified, I want it. And so that's what keeps the devotee going, even if you feel, I'm not qualified for the mercy, but I want it, I need it, I have to have it, it's my life and soul. So he prays to Mahaprabhu, he prays to Krishna, I know you're merciful, and even though I'm not qualified, I can't give up the desire for this mercy. It's everything. Ashabanta, as a desire, which I can't control this desire. And I don't even think I'm qualified to ask you, but I'm asking you because I have to ask you. I can't stop asking you because I need your mercy. So that's the mood of the devotee. And then in his prayer he said, I know I'm not qualified, but I must ask you, and I know you will give mercy because you're merciful to the fallen. So he's saying, I'm not qualified, so I feel, in one sense, I'm not qualified for mercy, but I know that's not a problem for you, that you will give mercy even though I'm unqualified. Or that's part of the reason he gives mercy. So that's a little meditation. I just thought a little meditation for today, that we should expect mercy. There's something I heard recently, it came up on my YouTube feed. It was a Christian who was talking about prayer, and she was saying, maybe this is common in Christianity, I don't know. They said, when you pray, you should pray as if it's happening, like your faith is, it's happened. I'm praying for this, it's done. You think, yes, God is saying it's done, it will happen. And as I was saying before, we are taught to expect mercy. It's one of the signs of surrender. Like, expect mercy. Like, it's just because expecting mercy is a manifestation of faith that Krishna reciprocates with. So if I don't expect mercy, Krishna says, okay, you don't expect it? All right, I guess I won't give it to you. You know, I'm just going to reciprocate with what you expect. But if you expect it, then, okay, let's make it happen. That's what I want you to do. That's a sign of a surrendered soul, that you know I'm merciful, you know I'm compassionate, you know I will give mercy, you're expecting it, you're waiting for it, you feel it's going to come, it's going to happen. So I would just suggest, try it if you haven't done this before. It's not like, you know, sometimes we pray for mercy, in the back of our mind we're thinking, I never get anything. I never want anything. Well, you know, one of those, you know, like everything's bad, you know. God doesn't love me. Even my dog doesn't like me, you know, one of those. And so sometimes we're praying for mercy, in the back of our mind we're thinking, I'll never get it. Krishna will never give it to me. I don't deserve it, or whatever. Rather, we should pray with the expectation, yes, Krishna will give it. I am confident of that. And so if we can be in that mood, especially today, and be open and expecting and looking for it, and maybe today I'll have some breakthrough in my understanding of Mahaprabhu. Maybe today I'll have some breakthrough in my chanting of the holy name. Maybe I'll chant extra rounds. Maybe the kirtans we have, I'll have some realization of something that I haven't realized before, or I will go deeper into something. I think it's a beautiful way to spend Gaur Pranim, because my experience, I think all of our experiences on these days, the mercy is just so thick, and Mahaprabhu just wants to give us taste. And the kirtans on Gaur Pranim are always special, aren't they? Yes? So, Hare Krishna. Thank you. So we have time, right? Since we're fasting, we can go all day with class and questions, right? So, any comments, questions? Yes. You know, another thing also I think is good to mention, because we all are in the process of purification, and some of the challenges we have seem quite persistent. We try to chant them away, we try to purify them, and they, you know, we think they're gone, and they come in the back door or the side door or like that. And I think it's beautiful to really work on these things today and expect that mercy, that I can deal with some of the challenges I have. Today's the day. There's so much mercy. Yes.
Prabhu, thank you. I got a small comment on the question.
Yes.
Comment, well, I was just meditating when you were giving your classes. Mahaprabhu was on the altar throwing out gulab jamuns. Even if you're a terrible catcher and you feel unqualified, you would do anything you can to catch it. Even if you fumble, if it falls on the ground, you would grab that gulab jamun. So I think that's what we're going through. So even if we're fumblers, we still keep trying. So that's a comment. The question is about mercy. You see very often when you read Shastras, read Chaitanya Charitamrita, at the end of a chapter there's incredible benedictions given.
Yes.
So and they're given by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, not just anybody. So how do we understand? Because like I read one last night that very soon I'm going to get love of the Godhead.
Yes.
So how do we understand these wonderful benedictions?
I think in my study of this, I want to talk about this tonight a little bit. I think the definition of love of Godhead that we have and the definition that is often used might be different. Because as I said, sometimes Prabhupada said, chanting and dancing in love of God. So we're chanting and dancing and he's thinking, or Prabhupada's feeling, we're chanting and dancing in love of God. And we're thinking, we don't have any love, right? Well, we're not singing ordinary songs, and we're dancing for Krishna, and we're happy and we're blissful. And anyone who ever did kirtan with Prabhupada would see how blissful Prabhupada was when we were chanting and dancing. And as you may know, Prabhupada would often call us pure devotees. We don't think we're pure devotees. So I think sometimes the definitions are broad. And it's interesting also, in traditional times, you could go from Shraddha to Prema in like 2 weeks. So it's possible. It's not normal for us now, but it's possible. So I think a lot of those blessings are like, the potential's there if you actually take it. Because in Jaiva Dharma, they got the holy name, and a week later they had achieved Baba. 1 week to Bob. And but in those days, because of the qualification of the people and the lack of distraction, that was not abnormal to go from Shraddha to Baba in 1 or 2 weeks. So results may vary, but the potential is there. And what I want to talk about tonight is yesterday I went through Prabhupada's quotes where he talks about how we can go back to Godhead, which many of us feel like, I don't think I'm ready, or I don't think I'm qualified, and so forth. And Prabhupada's talking like in the Jarikanda, an animal can go back to Godhead. And it's like, how is that possible? And he's not talking about initiated devotees. He's talking about people in general. Like, that's interesting, isn't it? I don't want to give away everything, but I have some beautiful, really, really interesting quotes from Srila Prabhupada that seem to kind of contradict our whole philosophy about the qualification for developing love of Krishna and the qualification for going back to Godhead. Just chant, take prasadam, and so we're going to read the verse about a dog who went back to Godhead. And so Prabhupada's saying, even a dog went back to Godhead, what to speak of by chanting and taking prasadam. So, in my meditation on this, Prabhupada wouldn't have come here and spread Krishna consciousness unless he thought he could take us back to Godhead, because that was his goal. So if going back to Godhead were that difficult, and only a few rare souls could do it, and getting love of Godhead were that difficult and rare, Prabhupada would have sized us up and said, no, this is not going to work. I'll just go back to Radha Damodar temple and be happy. But the fact that he went and spread Krishna consciousness and is telling us Krishna consciousness can save the world and change the world, and everyone can go back to Godhead, it's really interesting. Because it doesn't seem true from a certain perspective. You have to be completely pure to go back to Godhead. But this other perspective is like, with the mercy factor, things are possible. And we have, the impossible is possible. We have stories of many devotees who in the last week or two of their life kind of went from like Nishta to Bhava, just like, in a week, like miraculous. And so I was thinking about this when Prabhupada's saying, you know, that so many people can go back to Godhead. I'm like, how do you get back to Godhead as a conditioned soul? You don't. You can't. You can't. And Prabhupada said, you remember that one time Prabhupada said, even if you have attachment to eating a sweet ball, you can't go back to Godhead. It's like, and all the devotees are like, well, I guess, you know, I'm never going to go back to Godhead. You know, I've graduated from gulab jamuns to date balls, but I still like date balls, you know, with coconuts and almonds. You know, so like, how am I going to do it? And so you have that, and many, many statements like that. You have to be completely pure, but then you have this other side, you know, like the mercy side, where it's like, go out and people will be liberated, and you know, all the devotees are going back to Godhead. And you know, you remember that story? Maybe some of you have heard it. Tamal Krishna Maharaj had a surgery, and then when he was under anesthesia, had a dream, you know, about, and he went to Prabhupada and said, I had this dream that, you know, we were doing Hari Nam and this and that. I forget the details. And something in the dream was like all the devotees were going back to Godhead. And he said, Prabhupada, is that true? And he said, Prabhupada said, yes, their names are written in the book, back to Godhead. Devotees are chanting their names in the book. You know, so like you're all sitting here in the temple, your name's in the book. Yeah, back to Godhead. So we hear the other side of the story also. So then when we hear those statements like prema is possible and like that, it's more reasonable that we may be included in that, even though we don't feel like it. And the fact that Prabhupada called us pure devotees, whoa. And the fact that the Hare Krishna movement even exists today, after Prabhupada left, is a testament to the purity of just following what he did in his footsteps. And that purity remains even though we're not pure. That's my understanding. You have anything to add to that?
Definitely agree, Prabhu. That the factor of mercy can't be quantified. Because it's causeless and it's just what it is. So that's what carries us. The rest of it, our endeavor is just a little struggle along.
I mean, like it's Kali Yuga. What are we doing if there's no mercy? Or just go to the beach and hang out. You know? That's the only option. But because there's mercy, we get out of bed and keep trying, and we see over time. You know, I'm a different person than I was 10 years ago or 20 years ago. I don't feel very advanced or very great, but when I look back, I say, oh, you know, there is a difference. You know, I have some realization, I have some understanding. I understand things I couldn't understand 20 years ago. It is working. And that's mercy, Prabhupada's mercy. And I don't know if you know this, when Prabhupada was leaving and everyone was lamenting, and Prabhupada was saying, why are you lamenting? I'm an old man. This is normal. Old men don't live. He said, but Prabhupada, we're lamenting because you'll be gone, and how will we be guided? And Prabhupada said, I will guide you from within the heart when you leave. When I leave, I will guide you from within the heart, and I will come to you in dreams. I will guide you through dreams. So look at that mercy, you know. Who am I, you know? But I may not be qualified, but I have a desire. And for me, I always think, well, I'm trying to serve Prabhupada. And if I'm trying to serve him and he wants me to do the service, then he's going to give me some help, some guidance, even though I'm not qualified, some empowerment. So if I'm just willing, then he'll use me. And that's my experience. It's all of our experience, right? We're not really qualified, but we can do amazing things. Look at all the things that were done when Prabhupada was here by very unqualified people, 25-year-olds, you know, 22. You know, I think it says the male brain doesn't mature until it's 28 years old. So our brains didn't mature while Prabhupada was, for most of us, where he was still alive. We were still kids. But we're doing these amazing things because we were willing. And so I was in a lecture and Prabhupada said, this Krishna consciousness movement will spread with you or without you. But if you stay, you'll get the credit. It's like, Lord Chaitanya is going to use somebody. Whoever stays, he'll use. So, you know, what's your qualification? You stayed. You stayed and you tried. That's your qualifications. Then he can use you. So it's So that's mercy, isn't it? I mean, it's like that he can use us to help other people go back to Godhead. That's incredible, isn't it? Little old me, I was a temple president. I had only been a devotee. Hadn't even been a devotee 1 year. I was only 20 years old. I went to a temple. There were 3 devotees and myself. And a year and a half later, there were 2 temples and 25 devotees. It's like, and what did I know? I hardly knew how to tie my dhoti, But that's, Prabhupada's mercy doing it. And Prabhupada said, if you're sincere, Krishna will send you devotees. So, we take it that Prabhupada sent the devotees. So we had a program in Los Angeles. It was the first Bhakti program, and I lived there, and I was not involved directly in the program, but I saw how the program developed. And Krishna was so happy with that program that the previous year, I think, 2 devotees joined. The next year, 100 people joined. Well, half of them left anyway, but we kind of pushed them to join. But 50 people stayed. So it was like Krishna was saying, okay, you're trying, you want to make this happen, I'll help you. Like, what qualification do we have to get 50 people to shave their heads and put on dhotis or put on saris? But it happened, right? Little old us. So that's, that's the way mercy works. And if we're willing to be used, Krishna will use us. If you're willing to jump off the cliff and go, Krishna, Swaha, I offer you my life. He'll say, okay, I'll guide you. I'll make you strong so you can do this seva. Isn't it? I don't know how to do this seva. Krishna says, I'll help you. Just jump off the mountain. Don't worry, I'll be there. And we're like, jump off the mountain? I don't know. I don't see the net. And Krishna's saying, no, I'm there. But Krishna, I don't see the net. Well, if you jump off, I'll bring the net out. Can you bring it out first? No. You jump and I'll put it out. Well, how can I trust you? Well, right in the Gita, I say, Pratijani Priyosi me. You can trust me. Right there. Trust me. Okay. So I jump off and the net's there. Oh, okay, that builds faith. Krishna is willing to use me, unqualified as I am. Hare Krishna, mercy. So you remember when Prabhupada left, there was this discussion, well, are these 11 people pure devotees? Initially, everybody thought Prabhupada had a magic wand and touched these 11. So these 11 were now Uttama Adhikaris. They left us down here. They left all us madhyams down here, and they became Uttama Adhikaris. And then later on, we realized, no, not exactly like that. But anyone who's willing to be used can be used. And when you're used that way, Prabhupada said, you're all pure devotees, not these 11. Everybody's a pure devotee. Why? Because they're trying to serve me, and you're a pure devotee. So there's a broad definition of pure devotee. Pure devotees are not Uttama Adhikaris, not Mahabhagavats. And love of God, that may be... Oh, this is a nice one. So Prabhupada used to come to Los Angeles, and Los Angeles was like the world headquarters for many years. And he'd come every year, and Los Angeles was the seat of book distribution. That's where it all happened in America. And all the book distributors, most of them lived there, or they would come there when Prabhupada was there, and then they'd go on morning walks, and they'd bait Prabhupada, because they wanted to get him to glorify book distribution and the book distributors. And so Tripurari Maharaj once asked Prabhupada, said, we're going out every day, and we feel like we'll become self-realized by doing this, because this service is so difficult. Or one devotee said, dying is easy. If you do Sankirtan, you'll have to tolerate much more than you'll have to tolerate when you die. So tolerating death will be easy. If you go out on book distribution, that's even more difficult. So, they felt like we're going out every day. It's so difficult, at least it was in those days, People were really hard on us. He said, will we become self-realized by going out every day on book distribution. And Prabhupada said, you already are. Otherwise, how could you go out every day? So Prabhupada's now calling us self-realized because we had the determination to tolerate all the difficulties and go out. So he's redefining self-realized. He's redefining pure bhakti, redefining love of God in a broad sense. And a lot of times there's controversy and arguments because we're not looking at these definitions. There are no pure devotees in ISKCON. Prabhupada, you ever heard that one? There are no pure devotees in ISKCON. Therefore, you should leave ISKCON because there are pure devotees outside. Have you heard that ad before? Yeah, that ad is there. Srila Prabhupada, how many pure devotees are there in ISKCON? How many devotees are there in ISKCON? 1,000. 1,000 pure devotees. So that's, we can't call ourselves pure devotees and of course do nonsense, but that's one of the ways Prabhupada saw. You're engaged in pure devotional service. In the early days of the movement, Prabhupada said some devotees had Baba. He said Jamuna had Baba. There's another devotee named Shilabhati. She was a pujari. Said she had Baba. Had Baba. They only devoted 2 years. What did Prabhupada mean? They were attached to the deities. They had so much devotion for the deities that they have Baba. Were they on the stage of Baba? No. Did they have Baba? Yeah. So Prabhupada could say, you have love. Does that mean you're on the stage of prema? No. But you have affection. You're doing it out of affection. So you can redefine it in different ways. And that's helpful for ourselves. Otherwise, think, I have no love. I'm so bad. But Prabhupada's saying, no. This is your love for me that you're doing this service. Prabhupada felt our love. He called it love. So, that's encouraging, isn't it? Yeah. Yes?
Thank you for your inspiring class, Mahatma Prabhu. Continuing on with your theme that on Gaur Purnima, Krishna Prema is on sale, Chitralekha Saki has asked Madhurangi and I this morning and this evening to just remind all the devotees that the entire Chaitanya Charitamrita set is also on sale until today. Last day, 200 Australian dollars only. 3 sets have been sold, Prabhu, since the 150th anniversary of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's appearance. But there's still 5 sets for sale. So, dear devotees, please give it some thought today. If you don't already have a whole set of Chaitanya Charitamritas in your home, never to be repeated, sale price, $200.
And what's the normal price? $3,000?
Something like that.
And we can buy it and give it to you, and you can give it to somebody?
Sure. That's exactly what I was thinking, Prabhu, because devotees, you may have a family member or a friend, and that doesn't have to be a special occasion, but maybe there is a big birthday coming up or a wedding or something like that. So you might want to think about gifting a whole set of Chaitanya Charitamritas to somebody. And I have a nice experience of that here at New Govardhan decades ago. On Gaur Purnima, a devotee gifted me, and I didn't even know this devotee that well, but he gave me a copy of Bhakti Ratnakara by Narahari Chakravarti. I didn't even know this devotee that well, and he's since gone back to the US, but he must have figured I really needed to read that book. And it is a very important book. So that happened to me, and I'll never forget that, and I hope that devotee's doing really well. So that was most of the announcement, Prabhu, that we were asked.
Okay, everybody line up over here with your credit cards.
Exactly.
There's only 5 left? There's only 5?
Only 5 left. 3 have been sold.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
One devotee might buy all 5 if you're not. We have 1.
That's a little bit of... that's putting a bit of pressure. No pressure, Prabhus.
If you don't have it in your home, you're in Maya. No, I have it on my phone. No, you need the books.
I was thinking that devotees can say, oh, I can read it online. Yeah, that's true. But there's nothing quite so special as actually holding that book
Yeah.
in your hands. And you have to sit upright in your office chair at your computer. Okay, yeah, you can lie back with your phone, but that's really small. But you can, we're starting to get some wintry days now, so to curl up with a Chaitanya Charitamrita in your hot hands, everyone, it's absolute nectar.
And you know how heavy Prabhupada was when he wanted this book printed. I was in Los Angeles when this happened, and he was way ahead. His translation was way ahead, and the books were being published, and he'd said, I'm not